All right, how we doing, guys? What's up, Kevin? Long Range Crypto, Thomas, Ion Shu, C for Crypto, Shammy, Bud, Christian. What's going on, guys? Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Big Chonis. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very serious. I am a crypto trader, a mentor, a chart psychologist, investor, photographer, chef. Guys, please do your own research. I am not a professional financial advisor. If you guys like my video, please give me a thumbs up and tell your friends. Thanks, guys, for joining me in the chat room here. Before we get a little too far into our Bitcoin analysis, I want to real quickly just mention my new program. I am accepting new students for a mentoring program that I'm starting through, or basically will be conducting through August. I put a video out on this on YouTube as well. And so if you guys have any questions about this or have any interest, definitely feel free to email me, bigchonis@gmail.com, or send me a Twitter DM. So far, the responses have been very good, so I'm very happy about that. So let's get on with the plan. Now, this is our friend Bitcoin. We know it well, and sometimes it just doesn't show us what we want to see. Directions, there's a lot of shakeouts, a lot of fake and bakes. So I have a daily chart open here, and the first thing I wanted to mention, I put a tweet out right here. This was a day ago. This was 23 hours ago. And it said that the EMA 12, which was our blue line right here, was going to be tested and was going to hold support at least for a while, because look how strong the price has been above it. And the biggest thing about this is right around here when it was touched and acted as very strong resistance. And then the next day it blew right through it. And ever since that day, like July 15th, 16th, had the price of Bitcoin has been using our blue EMA 12 on the daily chart as very strong support. So at some point I knew this was going to touch, and I knew when it did touch it would offer very strong support. Now 24 hours ago the blue line was at 87.10. And then today, about an hour or 2 hours ago, look what happened. We touched it right on the dot there and are still in a very nice bounce from our first touch of our EMA 12. Now, also, I want you to note our orange EMA 26 as well, because that is definitely something that could definitely be in play in the future. So as you can see here on our daily chart, this line here is our EMA 12. And look how awesomely, like to the penny, that touched a 78.56. So basically we rose about $50 from the price where the EMA 12 was yesterday, and found some very strong support here. Now let's bring up, there we go. So this was a really tight equilibrium we were watching last night. Okay, right here we see we had a couple fake outs where we blew through it bullishly, gave it all back, couldn't close above, broke down right bearishly, but held our lower trend support, bounced off of that, and then another fake and bake up. So a lot of volatility there. Basically we're holding our support, remember this is our major channel support, where the bottom support down here was tested and held. We found very strong resistance on our middle channel support line back here, right? But now we broke it, so now it's very strong resistance over here. And then this morning, or I guess depending upon what time the day it was, I guess 12 hours into the daily candle, we broke it. And we broke it pretty severely there. And we know we basically found our support here at 78.55. And now you see that the price is trying to get back in. Now on the 1 hour chart, here, and you know what, I'm just going to clean this up just a little bit here so you can see better. Look at that. The price is unable to get back in and close for confirmation. I always want to wait for confirmation, especially on higher time frames, in our bull channel here. And I can see now our second hourly is right here, and now we're being rejected by our our bull channel support line, right? Major support that is now acting as major resistance. And that's why we're not able to get back up here. So even though this correction up from this move here was very nice, right? And we actually were getting higher. Now we did put we did put in, right now at least, a lower high when we shot back up here. So now this line here, from a wick standpoint, okay, is going to be our resistance. So we can get back into our bull channel on our hourly, on lower time frames, but as long as we keep bashing against this line now, okay, that is descending, we're not going to get any higher. And especially if we cannot close into our bull channel on our hourly chart. Let's also bring up, and this is interesting here, you know, great trading technique and a strategy I like to use is on the RSI here. And if you're scalping, if you're swing trading, if you're doing shorter term trades, you know, just basic straight on day trading here, okay, good rules of thumb is you want to buy when you break 30, which is an oversold area, on whichever time frame you're choosing to look at, and then basically sell as you get closer to the overbought areas. So earlier today, when we had our big dip in Bitcoin, you can see how our RSI on our 1 hour chart over here broke 30, okay, and then that was scooped up, okay, because it was in an oversold condition. Now we see back here when it broke, okay, it was in an oversold condition. But then I have a feeling my computer's going to freeze, so if it does, I'll restart it here. It's getting a little slow. But then we bounce back. Oh, sorry. So then this was our low here on our RSI. And then we started to rise. And then we actually put in a lower low, which was bearish, but a higher low on our RSI. So we're showing a little bit of bullish divergence there. And then sure enough, if you were patient on the lower low, but still holding a higher high on the RSI, you were rewarded with a chance to basically what you bought here, maybe a little too early, okay? Maybe you dollar costed here, but at least you were now able to sell at higher areas here for a nice little trade as you basically scooped up what was low and sold what was a little higher there. So those are good trades there. Now on the 4 hour, whoa, there we go. So on the 4 hour here, we have a couple things here. Let's go to our RSI and take a peek here at our support lines here. Why do these keep turning? I think I changed these last time, right? Okay, so, all right, so I'm looking at a resistance line here in our RSI. It's our 4 hour. Let's get rid of that for a moment. Let's get rid of that for a moment. So yeah, it's all about resistance and then breaking it bullishly. Okay, so this is our resistance line here. This is where we broke bullishly from it, and we were not able to even use it as support. We just came right back down, and now resistance, 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 and now potentially another resistance. So this line on the 4 hour is showing our resistance, basically what we're unable to get above on our situation there. Now we have clear support here. All right, see what's going on here? I like this. So we have clear support here. We have clear support here with a very nice V bottom on a 4 hour RSI. And right here is our very short uptrend we're having right now. So we clearly see that this line is very support as well. What we kind of have here is very symmetric triangle from a support line, resistance line standpoint, not necessarily in the pattern, but what's currently acting as support and then what's currently acting as resistance. So right now we're right on it, getting close to an apex here where I feel a potential more volatile move, more than a couple $100, what we've been seeing is probably in the cards in the next 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 30. Basically the next day, day and a half, we're going to get a bigger move once this breaks one way or the other. So that's our 4 hour RSI. We do see here our stochastics, okay? We have currently a bull cross in our stochastics. Remember where we were up here? Remember, we didn't get this high yet, right? This is our high. This is our lower high. This is now our lower high. So even when we have our bullish moves here, we're still not getting the follow through, the money flow, and that bullish momentum you want to see. So we are looking at this bull cross here, but we're still down in our kind of reset area. As you can see in the previous before, we do have a situation where a W bottom could be put in as well. So until this confirms, um, this blue line needs to kind of jet up, shoot up, something like that, and then let the red follow it. So we're in a very early stage of the bull cross, but this can definitely roll back over again and stay in this area here for quite some time. Let's look at 12 hour, and let's look at our TD. I want to hide that. Let's pull up our TD. So let's look to see if we have any counts of interest happening here on our TD9 sequential. So we have a red 2 on our 12 hour. Not much there. Have a red 5 on our 4 hour. So maybe we could have 4 more 4 hour candles of that. I missed our 6 hour. Let's see. We had a red 5 on the 6 hour. Our hourly. It's up to a green 2. We have bottom at a red 2. So not much there. Let's go back to the daily. And we're still on a red 2, barely on a red 2 on our daily here. So, looking at, I would really say the 12 and the 6 hour here, where actually, no, it was the 6 hour that looked kind of interesting. We're at the 6 and the 4 hour, basically showing we're potentially halfway through a 9 candle, you could argue, potential correction area here, where we're not going to find any highs there for at least several more of these candles here, at least till this trend breaks. Now this could be the 4 hour candle that breaks this red TD trend continuing. When does this close here? Let's see, 5, 6. Okay, so we have 2 more hours for this to close. So this definitely has more time to play out here, but still not seeing much to give us a lot of guidance yet into which direction here. Now the biggest thing we keep always watching, this is very important, is just where's our volume coming from here. This red candle looks pretty ominous, but we see how long this wick was. So a lot of this red candle was actually being bought up. Okay, so even though this looks bad, I actually see it as a positive sign in terms of volume flow is there, and these dips keep getting bought up. Every time we break 8,000 so far, you've been rewarded. Let's say if you pulled along. So let's go in the chat room and see what people are talking about. We might be able to do some alts today. I don't have that long for a very long show. I definitely want to talk about Bitcoin here. Let's see here. Great to see everybody here. Maybe we can touch on a little Neo. Yeah, thanks, Carl. I'm really excited about it too. Hey, Jane from Madrid. Hey, Allie. What's up, Paul? Paul's the man. B7 Oaks, what's going on? C for crypto. Hit that thumbs up. Yeah, buddy, I appreciate that. Chad Phillips, should I sell all alts now? That's probably a question you should have been asking yourself, Chad, a week or two ago. Listen, when the money is flowing into Bitcoin, okay, where's that money coming from? It's not coming from new money flowing into crypto, unfortunately. I mean, there's some, yes, but a lot of that is being sucked out of people's alt positions. Okay, so we look at our coins like ADA, that was part of our Coinbase 6 announcement. Coins like Ethereum Classic, which has really given a lot of that back, but past couple days here, it's looking a lot better. I like the volume there, and we're definitely putting in a clear, very clean higher low here. And we have some EMA support finally, so that's good. But what else? Lumen, right? Like great pump. And then look, we gave so much of that already back here, and we're just barely holding on to this area here. So a lot of the bullish divergence, right, from our Coinbase 6 coins has just been given up, unfortunately, by Bitcoin, King Daddy just sucking a lot of that money back into them. Now, a big question out there is what happens? What happens when Bitcoin, I don't know how to describe this. All right. Like we've been level for several days here. Bitcoin's been at $8,200 pretty much. So if you wanted to buy Bitcoin, you've had all the opportunities in the world to buy it in that price range. But so we have a stable Bitcoin, bullish. But why aren't we seeing that money flowing into alts? Like we had seen, right? Remember in April when Bitcoin went bullish, okay? Stabilized more or less in the 7,000-8,000 range, and then went to 9,000, and then alts pumped very nicely. But why aren't we seeing that here? And unfortunately, a lot of it has to do with just the fundamentals of what's going on with all these altcoins right now. And the reason is there's so many of them out there, and there's so much money spread amongst them all. And a lot of them had their initial moments of of pumps of forks, of mainframes coming online, a lot of things which have pushed a lot of these altcoins to their nice moves, parabolic moves, made some money on some, lost some money on others. And we're just not seeing that follow through right now. So the market is really being very selective as to where it's putting its money. And right now they're feeling Bitcoin is the way to go currently, and a lot of that has to do with that ETF. And a lot of this Bitcoin pump, okay, has to do with the ETF. Now, the ETF is not a nay or a yay yet. It's still kind of floating out there. Some of it was nay, the Winklevoss, the Gemini ETF, but other stuff is still a non yes yet, I'll say, okay? Maybe there's an August meeting. Maybe there's now a September meeting. Maybe that will be a meeting that will say we're kind of push it off until the next meeting, which will be later on in the year. My point is that the notion of this ETF can keep this bullishness in Bitcoin for a while longer until you have a definitive no, you're not getting an ETF Bitcoin. I'm sorry. You're not going to see this capitulationness yet. And what you're seeing is more of a benefit of the doubt that the bulls want to push this higher. And we're seeing that currently in the stability of our coin here. Now let's look at other EMAs. I didn't want to bring up the TD. Oops. 12, 24. Okay. All right. So we have our 200 MA, our 55 EMA, our 100 MA, our EMA 12, and our EMA 26. Let's go to our daily chart here. Okay. So our red, which is our EMA, our MA 200 right here. We've talked about this in past shows, right? Very strong resistance. Wasn't even able to touch, right? Wasn't even able to touch. Not able to touch. Still not able to touch. If we do touch, I expect this to be strong resistance. Now it's falling still, right? Bitcoin goes sideways. The MA follows. And right now it's at 84.69. But 5-6 days ago it was at 87.24. So you see how they're both kind of touching or racing to kiss, where Bitcoin's just kind of standing there and the MA 200 is just coming in for it. Now, can Bitcoin hover up here and get that push? The thing is, though, if we keep going sideways, this line's going to continue to come down. It's leveling out slightly, sure, but it's still coming down. So this doesn't give us a lot of more room until we hit a major resistance if we were to break bullish. And now we also clearly have our double resistance here on our wicks, and our candle closes at around $8,400. So between $8,400 and our MA 200 84.65, that's two back-to-back very strong resistances if Bitcoin is able to push higher. We see here this is our EMA 12 holding us up. We have our 100 beneath acting as extra support. We have our 26 EMA as support and our EMA 55 here. Now, again, I like to use a daily. I like to use the 4-hour. So now we have our EMA 26 above our price. Nope, is that our 12 or 26? That is 12, sorry. We have our 12 above acting as resistance. Now we have our 26 above acting as resistance. So why can't Bitcoin get any higher now? Here's another reason why. We have two indicators. Let me do this. We have these two indicators right here so close. And when we re-add the price, we see how these being so close without a cross yet is what's keeping Bitcoin currently from rising. We have a support on our EMA 55. That's good. Remember, we broke it here, right? But if this was bought up, you were rewarded because now we're much higher. And then if this breaks again, we have our 100-day at 75. And look how far our our MA 200 is fallen on our 4 hour. As it rises up, okay, it's almost at $7,000. Remember, a couple days ago when we topped off, it was almost $400 less. So this is strong support. This is strong support. This is strong support, and they're all currently beneath Bitcoin, and we know what's currently above us there as well. Okay, back to the chat here. Chad. Chad and I don't show our faces. No, we're not ugly. I'd say Chad's is average. I'd say I'm above average. Uh, but no, just like to keep it clean with just charts, tweets, a voice. Right. I think this is very effective. But who knows? Perhaps in the future, you might see me on television sometime. Who knows? Um, but Cheds is a great friend, of course. Um, let's see what else going on in here. Let's see here. Establishment and retail are worried about trade war and possible market crash. That's a great point, Jane, because my theory about how the overall stock market, interacts with and works with crypto is quite simple. Crypto is an investment class, but it's proven to be a very volatile and risky investment class. So most investors, which are basically people that have money to invest, money that's not their rent money, their cell phone money, their direct TV payment money, their credit card money. This is money that's investable money, and they don't want to lose that. So they like to find, safe investments, and then every once in a while they like to play some more riskier things. So I think a lot of the money that flew into crypto, especially at the end of the last year into December, had a lot to do with the booming stock market, the Dow, the Nasdaq, the Russell, the S&P, and people just had a little more money to play around with, and were kind of excited and got caught up in crypto and Bitcoin when it was on its run to $20,000. So that was a very cool time and kind of a very perfect timing where we had a very flush stock market. People had a lot of money to play with. They had some tax implications, so they had to divest some of their really good stock market earnings they got through 2017 and decided to put some of that money to play in crypto. And a lot of that money is what happened and what brought us to 20,000 Bitcoin, and which brought the alts to such all-time highs as well. So if the stock market, which it's still up in the air right now, what's going on? Like, a lot of indicators are saying we're about to break out, we're about to reach all-time highs. The Nasdaq once again had reached it a couple days ago. It's obviously had tough couple of days recently with Facebook, with Twitter, and everything like that. We've basically seen these major moves can really affect what's going on. So this is a great example of how Facebook here, a lot of people have this in their quote unquote secure stable investments. And we see how when we closed at $217 a share, and then we opened at about 108, actually we opened up down here 175, and then today we just bled out more here. So this is an example of great returns, right? Where people would take some of these great returns and put some of that into crypto. And now they're getting a little scared because A, they just lost 20%, and B, is this a sign of things to come? So I want a bullish stock market. I feel that will help put money in crypto. Now there is an inverse correlation to that. A sense that, well, heck, I'm an investor. I'm going to seek alpha wherever I can find it. And if I'm not getting it in the S&P, in the Nasdaq, in the Russell, in the Dow, I'm going to put my money into crypto, right? Because there I'm seeing returns. Yeah, it's volatile. Yeah, a lot of stuff is very risky, which it is. But I need returns. I'm looking for alpha, so I'm kind of put my money in crypto. I don't think we're there yet. I still see this market as people that are investors and have extra money to play around with is going to go into crypto right now. But there could be a turn depending upon how the overall stock market plays out throughout the year. I really feel politics obviously has a lot to do with that as well. Be very interesting to see if we find a similar correlation to a declining stock market and a rising crypto market, or will a declining stock market take down more the crypto market? And we'll have to wait to see what goes on that. A lot of alts back to zero, says Shammy. Yeah, I mean, listen, people need to realize a lot of these alts can go back to zero. They started, well, they didn't really start at zero, but a lot of them, these are venture capital projects that kind of went nowhere. They raised a lot of money, were able to ICO, got exchanges to list their token, had a good run at it, and you see a bunch of these are still now back to either market price discovery, where they're lower than their initial ICO price or at least their initial bounce price. A lot of these you see they show up on an exchange. They'll I can find an example. Kind of show up. They'll fade as initial people start to kind of like take their money out, and then they'll just have their big pop and their nice run. And yeah, and this is just a kind of a random here. Let me actually get a weekly chart here. What the heck? There we go. So yeah, this is an example of one that basically started here, came down to sell off. This is your initial sell off. This is breakout stake coin. Okay, look at that nasty initial sell off, little bounce, came back down, held a higher low from its bottom of its initial sell off, and you see had a bunch of parabolic spikes. Boom, boom, boom. This was a huge one. Wow, look at that. Wow, this must have been a fat finger I got. Oh, maybe not. That's a lot of volume there. That's crazy. Okay, but look at it. Give it all back. All these, give it all back. Okay, if you are lucky enough to catch a rocket, okay, if you for some reason had breakout stake coin in this area here and you caught a rocket, this is where you make your money. Okay, not holding to the top here. By the time this candle got to the top of this thing here, you should have been selling, kind of all along the way, and laddering your sales into strength there. Very important. So there's an example of basically how alts can have moves, big moves, and then just give it all back. And now we're back to an area here where we're retesting kind of that all-time low back again. So yes, alts, your bags can be worth nothing at some point. It's a very good possibility. But not all alts are created equal. Some actually are real projects. Some have the right kind of people behind them. Some have enough money behind them to keep it going and to really prove that they're a viable project. And those are going to be the winners, moving forward. That once Bitcoin and once the overall crypto market does some kind of turnaround, we're going to see which of those coins, those realer projects, I'll say, those are where the big money's going to be made, because those will have the best use case for their pump. And a lot of those will have to do with the coin structure as well. I mean, I talk a lot about this, about how coins like ADA, Cardano, XLM, Lumen, they have tens of billions, of coin out there for them. I think maybe Lumen has 10 billion. Um, and, well, I think I can answer our own question here very easily. Uh, Lumen has 104 billion. Is that, am I reading that right? 104 billion Lumen. 18 billion 700. Yeah, wow. So there's almost 19 billion lumen that are currently in circulating supply. But the blockchain can handle a total of 104 billion lumen at some point, which means this part of it, the remaining 80 billion lumen there, is in some guy's wallet. Okay, but this is a reason why we have a USD price of under 30 cents, and that's a lot of lumen, man. That's a lot of lumen. That's just a lot of coin out there. Okay, so this will be um, it's I'm not saying it can't go parabolic again, but these are the things that will keep these things from really exceeding what others can achieve. This is ADA, similarly, 25 billion ADA coins. Much lower supply there, right? We have a much lower supply of 31 billion. Okay, a USD value of 15 cents. Okay, so this is an example where ADA is cheaper, has less circulating supply, but maybe Lumen has the better use case. And that's why it has the premium that it currently does, being number 6 versus 8. Okay, so oh, there we go. It just froze. I think I may have frozen here. Yep. Oh, this computer. Gosh darn it. Oh, I think we could be back. Yes. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Uh, oh, my Mac. Yeesh. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Bitcoin's history here. So we have where are we here? We have 5 billion in volume, 24 hours here. Now we did 4 billion yesterday. We did almost 4 billion the previous day. So we're still seeing lower volume. Remember, we were back to 7 billion back on the 24th there. One second here. Let me just confirm that we're good here. Yeah. So we're still not seeing that volume that we really want to see. So these are the things that I'm continuing to look at. Lower volume, higher Bitcoin dominance. Okay, 48%. That's awesome. So here we are once again. And yeah, I'm going to do some more chart on some of your requests for the day here. Um, but I wanted to give you guys just a brief update on Bitcoin here. Um, we're basically in the same exact spot we've been in for quite a while here. We just started our new weekly candle here. Okay, we're off to a decent start. Okay, our first dip of the day has been bought up, so that's positive. But we're not seeing a lot of volume here, and you want to see more consistency. And very soon, like within the next day or two, I guarantee you're going to see a lot more volatility come in as either the bulls decide to step in or we basically reach for lower numbers there. So until then, thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys can find me on Twitter. I'm at Big Chonis. If you guys like this broadcast, please give me a thumbs up. I'm hoping to do these daily. I might be having to skip a day every once in a while if I'm doing my training sessions, but I really appreciate you guys being here with me. We'll talk to you guys soon, very soon, and continue to stay safe out there. Remember, Bitcoin is a heartbeat. All you need to do is trade the pulse.